Hello, all you BC Wrestle Pod nerds out there, and welcome to a very special double dose of NXT tonight with not only the La Next crew, so your NXT review squad, but also later in the episode, we'll be switching over to NXT Los Sos, the most sexiest NXT review squad here on the internet. I am one of your hosts, Mikey, and of course, joining me this evening is my NXT compadre, patriot, mi hermano, my lover from another mother, if you will. Papa also himself will.
Hey, everybody.
Just giving you all the nicknames today. It's all good. Unfortunately, we are missing our, third, host, Macho Rodriguez, who is currently taking care of some business on his end in his personal life, but he'll be back next week. So Will be tagging out and Macho will be coming in because Will's leaving me alone next week. No, just kidding. So this is going to be good. But if you are not familiar about what we do here, hi, hello, and welcome to BC WrestlePod, where we review anything and everything wrestling. If you like what you see on your screen here on YouTube and Twitch, go ahead and follow us all over the social medias on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. Again, we're on YouTube and Twitch. We have merchandise. Dropping this Friday is our new collection, which is called Feminized Dick Tracy's. And it is an ode to Bianca Belair and Naomi in WWE, who are on the case to figure out who attacked Jade Cargill on Smack. So I got some artwork made up. It is so much fun. So stay tuned for that collection drop on Friday. But we got a lot to talk about because tonight we will be not only going over Vengeance Day from this past Saturday, but we are going to be covering last night's episode of NXT as well. So before we get into the NXT Vengeance Day review, I want the internet to know, normally, I do pretty good at these predictions across all the other promotions. Vengeance Day hosed me. And I was just like, damn, I think I came out 3-3, which was crazy to me. Because normally I do better than that. But I digress. But without further ado, let us kick things off. We are going to jump straight into Vengeance. So Vengeance Day started off with the NXT Women's North American Championship match, in which we saw our champion, Fallon Henley, defending her title against challenger Stephanie Vaquer. I will say this is probably, for me personally, one of the better matches of the evening. I really enjoyed this one. I was happy that WWE NXT decided to open with this match like I predicted that I wanted it to. I thought this was a really strong. Of course, Fatal Influence would involve themselves in some capacity in this match. But you know what? I was expecting for the Chemical X girls, as I call them, of Gigi and Tatum and Shotzi to come in for the save. But surprisingly, no. Stephanie was able to defend herself off against Fatal Influence on her own, and it made her look stronger for it. So I'm not mad at this. So Will, I throw the microphone to you. What did you think about our opening match with Fallon versus Stephanie?
I love this because I love both of these women, and I was so excited that we were opening with this one. And even though I know I think I predicted Fallon to retain, I am super excited that Stephanie won because I originally had said that I thought it wasn't time for Stephanie yet, but after watching the match, I was like, oh, no, she's got it. She's ready. And then she won, and I was like, oh, there you go. So I know I can admit when I am absolutely wrong. And I was wrong in this case. I thought, and I have to say, later on when we talk about the episode, the belt looks good on her.
Oh, absolutely. I cannot wait to talk about NXT because I thought they did a really good job this week. But again, we opened up with this match. Stephanie is your new NXT Women's North American Champion. Long live the Dark Angel is what her moniker is. So I'm here for it.
Oh, yeah.
So we move on to our second match of the evening, which I'm not going to lie, I was kind of surprised to see this here. I thought this would be in the middle of the card, but I'm not going to be upset about it. So we had the NXT Tag Team Championship match. I'm going to talk about the match itself first, and then we're going to talk about, some issues that me and Will were discussing in our little private chat. Choices were made. In the words of Tatiana, the drag queen, choices. Anyway, so we have Praxium defending their NXT championships against the number one contenders as of the go home show, like days before the pay-per-view, of Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura. I'm gonna be completely honest. The two stars of this match for me, I love everybody involved, But the 2 stars in ring wise is definitely Axiom. And I was very entertained, and I loved, that Japanese showboating style of wrestling in Inamura. I think it was probably my favorite, especially when him and Axiom had the chest chop off. And then he saw getting kicked in the face by Axiom. It was great.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it was so neat because, I'm going to absolutely agree with you because this is going to sound, I don't know how to make this sound good, but the foreigners outshine the residents, basically.
You could say the
I mean,
minorities outshone their white counterparts in
absolutely.
this match.
And the great thing about it and why I liked it is because we saw lucha style against Japanese style, basically. And it was so neat to see those two kind of come at each other. I was totally enthralled. And I had to admit, and when they first teamed Josh and him up together, I wasn't so sure. I think that in this particular match, however, I think you're right. I think Josh and why is my brain stopped? Oh my God. No, Frazier.
Nathan Frazier.
Thank you. I couldn't think of his first name. I was like, Nathan and Josh were kind of background a little bit. I thought that this match highlighted the other two. I mean, it really did. I mean, at least that's where my eye went. I was watching them. But I really liked this match. I agree with you. I thought it was odd that they put it here. I thought it would be a little like maybe halfway through and be sort of like a right before, intermission hit type of thing, or right when you get back from intermission type of thing. So but even though I was like, okay, that's cool. And then
yeah. Okay, before we get into what happened after the match, though, Josh Briggs, I love you dearly, but the skull on the shoulders, I was like, what?
When did he move? Is he trying? I don't know what he's trying to do because I liked his look when he was in the tag team. I liked that look. Now, if he's trying to go for like this like hardcore biker thing, I mean that was so like Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. I'm just like I can't with it. It's like, especially considering the rest of the aesthetic didn't match. That was it was so weird. I think that's when I was like, what is with this?
It looked like he went to a Spirit Halloween store, got a skull, stuck it on his shoulder.
Yep.
They found a way to make it mist. I'm like, no, if you're going to go for this really crazy skull thing, get a facial mask. Like, get a mask for it. Like, we took Josh Briggs, who was Country Boy, and then we turned him into some sort of like, asexual like biker. Like, what is happening?
I don't even know. I agree. I don't even know.
Listen, Josh Briggs, it's okay. If you want to make it gayer, you can. It's okay. I'm like, we are just one leather hat away, Josh.
We really are. I mean, we're almost to leather daddy status. I mean, truly. I'm waiting for the harness to make an appearance.
Listen, I'm not going to be upset if that's the direction he wants to go to. I'm not even going to lie. But even still, I'm like, the clothing does not match the character. And honestly, I don't even think Josh knows what his finalized version of his character is quite yet. But I digress. Hopefully, I want to see Josh succeed. I like Josh. I really do. Like, I feel
Agreed.
like here's the thing. I'm going to be completely honest. Spoiler alert. When they show up after our semi-main event, I felt like that was more impactful in this group because they're going after the NXT champion. They destroyed, and that was more impactful with the like entrance in the crowd. The lights go out, and then they're fighting in the ring. This made no sense. I was like, I feel like we did not need to have them attack the tag champs and the number one contenders after the match. Like, if you're going to make a statement, go after the big dog, which is, we'll talk about it in a little bit. I'm here for a new group. I think factions, WWE doesn't really do too many of them, but I would love to see a faction. I just felt that the impact that they wanted to have did not hit here, and it hit later. And I feel like having them appear twice did not help the cause. When we talk about the episode, though, and what happened afterwards, that was a bigger statement than what happened at Vengeance Day.
Yep.
So I feel like it was unnecessary to have them come out here, especially since, spoiler alert, they come out after the semi-main event for the NXT Championship match. So you don't need to. Yeah. So we still don't know what the group name of this group is. Of course, we know that Dion Lennox is a part of it and it seems to be leading it. So hopefully we'll get more information as the weeks go on. But I feel like we're going to get like everybody getting attacked for the next couple of weeks. Ricky Saint, you had one of my favorite lines last night at NXT when we get to it. It's like, damn, this place is crazy. The parking lot, backstage, Nobody is safe in NXT. It's the most dangerous place in the world. So we move on to our match that ended up being in the middle. I'm going to be completely honest, Will. I had so low expectations of this match that we ended up getting. And by the end of it, I was like, I think it might be because of how low my expectations were, but I was pleasantly surprised in how much I enjoyed this match. And even better, Trick Williams losing? What? That was crazy to me. I was like, oh my God. Trick Williams lost this match. Eddie Thorpe got another win over him. What is happening in the world of NXT?
I don't know what it is, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I am too, surprisingly. Because again, and we talked about it in the group chat too, and I'm going to steal this phrase from the professor, my AEW, compadre, my co-host, because he brings this up all the time, and I think it applies here. Having Eddie Thorpe win, and Trick losing more specifically, Trick now to me has so much more momentum upwards and somewhere to go after losing this, as we'll talk about in the NXT review from the episode last night. I feel like Trick losing is actually a good thing for him here because now he has more upward trajectory of getting back to where he wants to be. And now we get to explore a little bit of a different side of Trick than we're used to seeing. Spoiler alert, when we get to NXT, I'm like, are we getting Dark Trick Williams? Because I'm here for Vigilante Williams. I'm not even going to lie. But the match itself, I thought it was a lot of fun. Of course, you can't really do too much in a strap match when you're both chained by the wrist by this leather strap and you have to keep it on. They did find creative ways, though, to make it look fun. And Trick Williams, laying out Eddie Thorpe by continuing to smack him with the leather strap towards the tail end of this match had me chuckle. Yeah. And I actually like that Eddie Thorpe found a creative way to tie Trick Williams up and then use the strap as a dick kick, so to speak. But pinning him after getting him cleanly, might I add. And that's the crazy part to me is that Eddie won this match clean. No tricks, no chicanery, no shenanigans. Eddie hit of his finisher and pinned Trick. I was watching the crowd behind and the camera, and this crowd was shocked, and so was I. But I was pleasantly surprised with this match.
I actually really loved this match. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on 1 second. I have a dog whining.
Yeah, so to kind of give a little bit of context before Will comes back and says, so if you have been watching our NXT review, the Go Home show, all three of us said that we weren't really excited about this match, given the fact that it was literally announced on the Go Home show that we were getting this one. I'm like, there really hasn't been much of a feud. I forgot that these two were fighting, so I don't expect much. And we said as much during our predictions. Now that we're reviewing it, I was like, I don't know if it's for the low expectations, but I was pleasantly surprised and I actually enjoyed this.
Okay. So I really love this match, and for multiple reasons. But one, I love both of these guys, and I've been an Eddie Thorpe fan since day one, and I love both of them, and I want big things for them. But my big thing about this is Trick has had his big thing, and I think that this is now a springboard for him to do something else, to stop focusing on what he was focusing on and shift it. Because, I love me some Eddie Thorpe, don't get me wrong, and I am so excited that he won. But from Trick's perspective, he lost to Eddie Thorpe. That's got to be a huge blow to his ego and his self-esteem and his self-worth and all that. I mean, it has to be. Because when we think about them, we think Trick and we think Eddie is sort of a much lower, not lower, I'm talking about in experience.
Yeah.
That idea. And because I have been wanting Eddie to do something big since him and Dijak had their thing going on. I was like, something is going to happen to this guy. Something is going to come to him. He's got to get something. And even though this was not a title match or, anything like that, it was a pretty big deal for Eddie to win this match. I mean, he beat Trick Williams, and that's huge for him. So I honestly believe that this match did wonderful things for both of them, because I think it's given Trick, I think it's forced him to refocus, and I think it's given Eddie momentum to go up, because I love Eddie. I love how he fights. I like his style, and I know everyone's boo hissing him right now, and that's fine, because he's kind of playing that heelish kind of guy. But I when he won this match, I screamed with delight because I think in our predictions, I think we all chose Trick, right?
That we did. The three of us picked Trick because we're like, yeah, he's gonna
I was
win.
like, there's no way that he's going to lose to Eddie Thorpe. There's no way. But when he did, I did not go boohoo. I was like, hell yeah, you did. You just literally, this is a huge stepping stone for him. This isn't him like beating like Lexus King or, one of the lower end locker room people. I mean, this is Trick Williams. He was like a champ. He is like the man that everybody loves, and Eddie just whooped him twice, right? This is the second time, right?
Yeah, technically, because in the
Yeah.
triple threat in which Oba won the title, Eddie didn't get pinned. Trick got his rematch, but Eddie cost him the rematch. And now Eddie gets a win over Trick.
Which blew me away. I've never been happier to be wrong.
Oh man, I can't wait to talk about the potential development of vigilante Batman Trick Williams when we get to that. It was like, again, him losing over and over again has more room for him for that upward trajectory. So we move on from the strap match. We both loved it.
Yep.
I'm gonna be so honest. Outside of the main event, I honestly think this was probably one of my favorite matches. This is Ethan Page's and Javon's best match individually and together. This match ruled.
It did.
And the crazy thing is there was no crazy stipulation. It was just a match.
Yep.
It wasn't like a street fight. It wasn't like, I quit match. It wasn't, that it was just a fight, but they sold the fact that these two hate each other.
Uh-huh. And I love my favorite moment of that whole fight was when Javon curb stomped him in the face. Like, oh, jeez.
Javon was mad.
And we see it later on in the episode too, which I thought was hilarious. But I mean, no, I agree with you. This was like, and I did not want to like him, and now I do to a point. I'm not entirely sold on him yet, but watching these two guys wrestle, it made me really kind of like him, or at least respect him more than I did. I still think he's a douchebag, but well done, sir, for playing your character. But I'm just like, God, he's such an arrogant prick, and I cannot like you, which is so great. But this match blew my socks off. It really did, and I hate that I have to say that out loud.
No, I agree with you because again, I thought this is what initially I was like, okay, this is going to be a pretty fun match, but I wasn't expecting much. I kind of like that. Two things. I like that Ethan had to work to get this win. Of course, he wins by literally knocking Javon across the jaw and then pinning him as Javon is reeling from the shock of his jaw getting punched and knocked the mouth guard of Javon out. But number two, I think this match really, really showed me. I was like, you know what? I like Javon showing more aggression and Javon be like, oh no, you got me, so I'm about to beat you within an inch of your life. Get over here. Like, Javon was pissed. And I'm glad that he's like, I'm a babyface, but you about to catch these hands, so to speak. And that curb stomp to all ego Ethan Page on the steel steps was so amazing. And you know what? I was like, dang, man. I was like, I don't like that Ethan Page won. But not because I don't think he deserved it. I was like, dang, your character just sucks. You are a douchebag, but you're doing your job correctly because you are being a villain that I hate to admit that there are things about you.
So I'm the same way. I'm just like, God, freaking hate that I actually enjoy watching you wrestle. It was literally, I was like,
your character despicable to me, but not like in a negative way. I'm enjoying the ride. I was like, okay, now I'm going to be paying attention to Ethan Page. But then again, I'm biased because I have been following Ethan Page from, when he was a tag team champ with Josh Alexander in TNA to AEW and Ring of Honor and now to NXT. So I'm here for it. Of course, like I said, all ego Ethan Page wins, but Javon is not done with him yet, as we'll talk about in the NXT episode.
So I'm going to touch on something real quick that you had mentioned, and I agree with you. I love this character shift in him, and because even though he's a babyface, we're starting to see that sort of he has that possibility if he was pushed the right way to fall on the other side and be like a really, really good heel. I mean, I really think he had. I'm not putting that out into the universe. I'm just saying that a heel Javon, I think I would be kind of here for that. Like if him, imagine like him and Wesley like teamed up. Holy
Because
crap!
to me,
Yeah,
they're very similar
they are.
in their styles of wrestling and jumping all over the place. But yeah, if we ever truly have a Worlds Collide event, I would love to see Javon versus Leon Slater.
No,
Honestly,
I agree
Leon
with you.
versus anyone in NXT would be great.
God, that would, because you're right. They're so similar, even in like their styles and their personalities. I mean, they're so, wow. That's like, for those Star Trek fans out there, that's like mirror, mirror stuff going
I
on.
was about to say.
I love that. Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah, so again, I love that this isn't the end of the feud because we'll talk about it when we get to the NXT episode, but I was very impressed with these two and I really liked this match. Semi-main event time. I'm gonna be completely honest. Now, I have talked a lot of crap about Austin Theory, because underneath a certain person who used to be in WWE, like he was pushed to the top, but they didn't really give him anything concrete. Austin Theory, I would formally give you an apology because I think you worked your ass off in this match. Like I was low key, I was like, I kind of want to see an Oba Austin Theory one-on-one rematch because that man, like his ring work improved. Like he was selling like crazy for everybody. And you know what? I was just like, yo, I'm kind of here for this. Austin Theory, you were great. Oba Femi, you killing everybody. I'm gonna be honest, Grayson Waller, I forgot you were here for most of the time. Like he was very in and out. I was like,
Oh, am I in this? Oh yeah, I am in this. All right. Yeah, it was. I agree. I don't like these two together. I think he holds Austin back. I really do. Like when they have them together, it's like you can tell that Austin has that sort of charisma and that internal personality for it, but Waller like holds him down, like chains him up, and it drives me insane because when they came in separately, it was like, who's this dude? Because I haven't seen this dude before, and that's when I sent you the message about him. But I was just like, where has this been? Because now I want to see more of you. I want you to come over to NXT for good. You need to stay here, or go to TNA. One of the two. I don't care. You need to
come back over from main roster to NXT and
Yes,
do some things because I've been
yes.
saying this forever. I would love to see this current version of Austin Theory come back over to NXT and do like a Finn Balor, a Bailey, like what she's doing, a Becky Lynch when she was NXT champion for like 37 days.
I would love that because I really, 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 and I loved him and Oba going to town. I was like, and then I literally forgot that the other guy was even in the match. And it's because I was watching Austin and Oba just annihilate each other, and then every once in a while, and I think Waller was just there for comic relief. I really do.
And honestly, I think he was there to take the pin because Oba, spoiler alert, Oba does pin Austin to retain the NXT championship. I mean, Waller, not Austin Theory. I'm glad that Austin Theory didn't get pinned because that does leave the door open if we wanted to do a rematch at some point. But this match, again, I was very surprised of how much I liked it. Austin Theory and Oba Femi going one-on-one is something I would like to see. Even though we know Oba wouldn't lose to Austin Theory, I still think it would be a great match.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
Loved it. See, this is how you make your new group have a better impact because then this is the second time we see this group. And I feel like this was the better of the two appearances of this episode and the impact because, Oba is looking at them. The lights go out. The spotlights show them in the crowd. Oba's like, oh, heck no. Then they get into the ring and then they beat up on Oba. They like do a 4-man, 4-piece combo of like getting him up and then putting him down with like a power bomb of some sort. And I'm just like, now we're talking. We did not need them to do this as tag team champs. This could have been a big enough statement alone, for reals. So so this was the better presentation than what we got earlier. And I'm like, I want to take you guys seriously, but you attacking the tag champs earlier in the episode, we did not need that. But this is the better of the two presentations that we got. After this, main event time, fatal 4-way for the NXT Women's Championship. Julia defending her title against the challengers of Bayley, Roxanne Perez, and Cora Jade. Before I talk about, I just want us to take a moment to look how badass this is for. And commentary, I love you for pointing this out. And internet, I also thank you for saying this. This is 4 different generations of NXT in this ring, and I cried a little bit. I'm like, oh my God, look how far NXT has come. Bailey being then we have Cora Jade, Generation 2. Well, actually, no, Roxanne Perez, Generation 2, Cora Jade, Generation 3, and Julia as this current Generation 4. Like, I cried a little bit. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so proud of my babies. This is a badass picture.
It was.
And I'm gonna be honest, this was a badass match too. I will say it did take a couple minutes in the beginning for us to get there because Julia decides to go in the corner and let everybody else fight. But when once we got past those 5 minutes, it did not let up. It did not breathe. Like everybody was fighting, like their life depended on it. And I was just like, they killed it. This was my favorite match of the evening.
Mine too. Yep.
God, what a match.
It was so good. I mean, it was so good. I knew it was going to be good, but it was so good. I mean, these women, man, they were knocking heads. And it's so great because it was so sort of, at least I feel that they were all sort of evenly matched. There was no like, I'm going only after you or I'm only going after you. They were all just sort of on each other. And I loved it. It was so good. This was my match of the night.
This was fantastic. I loved this. And you know what? I think, well, of course, we all picked that Julia was going to retain. And honestly, I think the right person got pinned because Julia does pin Roxanne, which we figured, I think Roxanne is going to be sticking around until Stand and Deliver, and then she'll be officially on main roster. I mean, technically, she's already doing main roster things. Shoot, she's going to be in Canada next weekend to be a part of the main roster's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. So, I mean, she's in the chamber, so it's going to be crazy. And she's with Bailey, so that could be her first feud. The fact that that main roster is already pushing Roxanne to the moon is great. And when she goes to main roster, we know we have who's still going to be down here in NXT doing the thing. But yeah, Julia retains after the match. Let me tell you, this picture also made me cry. I was like, oh my gosh. Yes, the international girlies are about to take over the world. And then NXT, I should have known better. You played me like a violin because then the logo popped out. I was like, all right, guys, well, I'm going to go. And then all of a sudden I hear the familiar alarm and I was like, no.
Yep.
That's not. She's finally made her official NXT debut. Miss Jordan Grace is in the building and she gets down to the ring. And she kind of has a friendly face-off with Stephanie and Julia. Please let this be a Stand and Deliver triple threat match.
Oh, right.
I think, and honestly, we're going to talk about it a little bit. I think that's the direction we're going. Like, because with these three teaming together, I think eventually we're going to get maybe possibly a winner-take-all match at Stand and Deliver, which would be crazy. But that is how Vengeance Day goes off the air. Overall, I really liked Vengeance Day. For me personally, I think it did a lot better than Deadline and, New Year's Evil did. So, you know what? I think this was a fun start to 2025. Now, of course, we're going to the next TV special, Roadblock, in March. But then after that, all roads lead to Stand and Deliver. So I cannot wait. But that is going to be it for Vengeance Day. So now let us move on to the Tuesday, February 18th episode of NXT. So we're just going to briefly touch on some of the segments. I'm not going to focus too much on the backstage stuff, but more so of the important things that happened in this show. So Obafemi kicks off the show. He comes out and he addresses the group that attacked him at Vengeance Day. And so then he wants them to come out and face him like a man so he can beat them down. So the lights go out and I'm just like, okay, you know what? We might get this group. They're going to come out. They're going to cut promo or something or try, 4-on-1 Obafemi. Cool. I was like, oh my God, we're not wasting time. We're just jumping straight into TNA NXT crossover. I'm like, this Worlds Collide event is coming very soon. Oh my God, we actually might get this year where NXT and TNA have a joint show or special show. Like, this is the match everyone's been wanting to call for since this is not a
drill at all. No, I know. Because at first I was like, okay, who is what? Okay. And then it was Moose, and I was like, oh, are we about to get? No, we are not about to. Are we? Is it? And he went out there, and they were just like boom, 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 and I was like, the world is literally about to come to an end.
And I'm here for it. I'm ready for the rapture. Take
Oh
me.
my God, seriously, I am just like,
Actually,
you
God,
know,
don't take me yet.
and I want to. Oh God, I really wish Luis was here. I have really, because I've been working on that paper, and it's really gotten me to start thinking. Obafemi, and I love Obafemi. I absolutely freaking love this man, and I think is one. And I'm always saying, he needs to go to main roster because he's ready for it. But he is one of those people that, I mean, instantaneously, and it's impressive. I'm so impressed with how he can just get the audience just on his side. I mean, it's like he walks out and they are immediately, the minute his music hits, you already hear the who hitting the audience when they're doing the thing. And I'm just like, that to me, whether you win or you lose or whatever is irrelevant. But when you can get the audience, like the entire, to get on your side like that, I mean, that's impressive. So this man impresses the hell out of me. I mean, every time because it just hit me, and I was like, he literally has won this audience. He wins this audience over every single time he walks out, and I just love that about him. And I'm just like, we need more. Believe it or not, we need more wrestlers, characters, whatever, that are like that. Either the audience is 100% on your side or 100% against you. It's like, I just think it's so neat. I just love it. And then, of course, you have the Moose fans that were in the audience as well. But I just was like, wow. He just wows me. And I just wanted to say that because.
No, I 100% agree with you. We need more characters like Obafemi, where the audience is naturally going to be on your side no matter what. Or you look at a Dominic Mysterio, where it's like everybody hates that character, but he makes it work.
Yeah.
But I love this segment. We are not wasting time with, NXT and TNA crossing over. This will not be the only time we talk about TNA stars in here. Oh, I forgot to mention, we got Santino on Vengeance Day, meeting with Ava and Ariana. I was just like, oh my God, Santino is actually on my television screen for NXT pay-per-view. It's happening. This is not a drill. We're about to enter DEFCON 5. Let's go.
I was all like, oh my God. I literally was like, oh, Santino.
Yeah, the crowd erupted when he popped onto the screen. Like, the audience at Vengeance Day was like super excited. I was like, yes, this is the reaction we want. But yeah, Oba versus Moose, whenever that happens, I cannot wait. Oh my goodness, it's going to be. So after this segment, we get into our first match, which is a #1 contenders match for the NXT North American Championship, in which we have Miss Jada Parker taking on Carmen Petrovic, who is accompanied by Ashanti the Adonis and Honey Jordan. I'm gonna be honest, like, normally I don't like it. I don't like outside people helping sway the result of the match. I did not mind this here personally, with Ashanti helping Carmen, rolling her in to be able to get the pin on Kalani Jordan while Jada Parker was doing the celebratory dance and setting up for her finisher. And then Jada turns around and the match is over and she goes to proceed to beat up Carmen afterwards. So I thought the match itself was fun. But we have to talk about what happened afterwards, because then we get Fatal Influence coming out. They beat up Carmen. They throw Jada out the ring. And then NXT, this is where I got docu-points for this episode, because then we get Stephanie and Julia coming out for the save, but the beatdown is happening on picture-in-picture. Like, you have Julia and Stephanie coming out with picture, and then proceeds to get beat up. And then we come back to the regular frame. I'm like, what is happening? Hang on, I gotta highlight this comment right here. Arturo, yes, Vak is indomitable and she's ready for war. Hell to the yes. Like, girl is crazy. Love her.
Oh my
God. But this moment was made crazier because Jordan Grace comes out to even the odds. Fatal Influence runs away and Jordan gets on the mic and says, oh, y'all three want to fight? Let's fight tonight. And so it is officially made as the main event: Stephanie, Julia, and Jordan versus Fatal Influence. I'm like, the Fatal Influence girls are about to get their ass beat, and I'm here for it.
Absolutely. Oh my God, absolutely.
Poor Carmen. I love you, girl, but this overtook you becoming the #1 contender to Stephanie's title. Like, I love you, girl, but damn. But yeah, this made me excited for the main event. Which now let's get into our next topic. So in the text thread, Luis had some feelings about this one where he was a little upset to see, spoiler alert, the Meta Girls, so Lash and Chikara losing cleanly to Sol Ruka and Zarya. But I'm gonna be honest, I was not as mad because I think the Meta Girls forever have my heart. I think they did an amazing job. They came so close to beating Naomi and Bianca for those tag team championships. But I also think we need to start establishing other women's tag teams too, because we also need a women's tag team division so we can send the NXT tag team, the women's tag teams, to try to get those titles and bring them over to NXT. So I didn't hate this because Sol and Zarya somehow work as a team despite their aesthetics differences. Like, I think NXT has done a smart thing, in my opinion, of like, because we've seen tag teams recently, and not to throw Will under the bus, but also during Will's time of watching wrestling, of like the odd couple tag teams where personality wise they are complete opposites, but they work somehow. Lo and behold, we saw it with Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker with the Wolf Dogs. Like, that was such a weird pairing that I was like, I'm not sure how I like this. And then I'm mad because we don't get them anymore.
Yes, I want to see them eventually become champions because I think they've got what it takes. I really do. Both of them, I'm talking about the Metaphor Girl. And I think they've got what it takes. I think that they've got the character, they've got the charisma, they've got the chops for it. But when they were going up against Sol Ruka and Zarya, I was just like, you're not going to win this one. You know, I was like, and I think I have made this statement before. It drives me insane when they put good teams against teams they're not going to win against. Like, there's no way in hell they're going to win. And I know someone's going to be like, well, it's for the experience. Whatever. For one thing, it's scripted, folks. So what is the point of putting Lash in there? What was the point of this? I didn't understand it other than just to give them a loss. Because there was no way they did not have a snowball's chance in hell of winning this match. Like, at all. Now, I'm not saying they did great. They held up their own. They did their thing, but I was already in it going, they're not going to win anything, so why are we watching it? I mean, there's no chance. There's not even a moment where I would sit there and go, well, maybe? No. If it was a legitimate challenge, I would have been like, this makes sense. Okay. All right, cool. Let's see what they got. You know, but we knew there was no way. This was not a legitimate challenge. There was no way that Lash and them were going to walk away with anything except a loss. And that breaks my heart for them, you know, because I want to see my girls like go up that ladder, because I honestly believe that they could be tag team champions. I love them together. I love their styles together. I think they complement each other well. I think they work well together in the ring. I think, do they need some polishing? Yeah, I think so. But this just drove me insane. Now, Sol Ruka and Zarya were amazing. I mean, they were amazing. And I think that they are an odd pairing, but they work, you know? It's like, when I heard about this pairing, I was like, really? It reminds me of Glenda and Elphaba. I mean...
Oh my God, you are so right.
You know, it's so like... bubbly personality and broody green mama, you know. It's like, and I love it, and I truly loved it. I was hesitant at first, and then I saw them together and I see them fight together, and I'm like, oh wow. And you're right, it's like Baron and
Braun,
thank you. And because I hated them individually,
and then they got put together,
and I was like, this is going to be a disaster.
And it was so good.
It was like, what the hell's happening right now? It's like the whole world just shifted. So yeah, I agree. And I love Sol Ruka and Zarya together. I think they're a fantastic team. I love Lash and I love them. I just thought that this match was unnecessary.
Yeah, I could see that. And I understand to that point. I'm hoping that there's more in store for the Meta Girls, because it's kind of weird to have them go from being number one contenders, had a phenomenal match against Naomi and Naomi and Bianca for the tag championships not too long ago, and then to kind of like not do more with them. But we're on the up and up. I love both of these teams. This was fantastic. Okay, let's quickly break this down, because this was a whole interruption fest. So Ricky here, we wouldn't find out his last name until the end of the segment, But Ricky is down into the ring. He comes out. Ava comes out. We're about to sign this contract. A lot happens here. So first, Ethan Page comes out. Ricky and Ethan go back and forth, which was fun to watch. And then Ricky, I love him breaking the fourth wall. It's like, hey, man, you got to be watching for Javon because you know what they say is it's like, you about to get your ass beat. And then Javon comes out swinging on Ethan. I was like, yes, give me aggressive Javon. I'm here for this. So as Ricky is about to sign it, then we get interrupted again, but this time by Wesley because earlier in the night, Wesley felt like he was rudely interrupted because he was giving an interview and then not Mackenzie, like our interview person goes up and be like, oh, hold on a moment. Ricky, come here. I want to interview you real quick. And in the background, you see Wes flipping out. Like he's like, oh, heck no. So Wes comes out and he's like, I'm going to let that slide what happened earlier, but you were being very disrespectful. But, I want to personally welcome you to NXT. As Ava's like, did everyone forget that I'm the manager and you can't just make these matches? I have to approve them. And Ricky's like, you know what? Fine. If we're going to be that way, we could talk about it. And as he goes down to sign the contract, he sucker punches Wesley across the rope. And I love Wesley's overacting here of the rest, like holding him back. It's like, I'm about to jump these. He literally tried to jump over the refs, the security guards. It was so funny. But ultimately, Ricky does sign his contract, and we officially now get his name changed. He goes from Ricky Starks to Ricky Saints. I'm going to be honest, I feel like Saints is a mouthful for me personally. I think if we drop the S, like Ricky Saint would be fine with me. But I am okay with the name change. I'm excited to see what Ricky does. We will talk about you in a little bit. Ricky had some of my favorite moments after this. Like, again, we talked about it off earlier where everybody gets beat up by the group backstage, and he's like, damn, everybody be crazy here. Nobody is. So, hang on. Did I put the slide?
That was so funny.
This is crazy. No, I couldn't find it. So, but I'm super excited for next week because later in the evening, Ava's walking Ricky through the backstage area, gets confronted by Ethan, gets confronted by Wes. They're ready to throw blows. Javon's ready to fight because he comes into the scene. And Ava makes it official. Next week for Ricky's first match is going to be Ricky and Jav versus Ethan and Wes. And we're far enough into this. I may or may not have creamed myself a little bit. I'm like, oh God, like that match is actually going to be really good. I think this is going to be a fun one.
I agree.
So excited. So after this was not the direction I thought we were going because, we get an interview with Frack. No Quarter Catch Crew comes up. It's like, look, bro, we're going to tell you what, like we told Briggs and Inamura. If you want a tag team title shot, you can't just ask for it. You got to earn it. And No Quarter Catch Crew is like, just 1 minute. So then Tavion and Miles get cut to the mic and they're like, you know what? Quarter Catch Crew, we think we got it. And I love this part because Fraxine thinks it's about them. No Quarter Catch Crew is like, just watch. We're not talking about you. Anyways, No Quarter Catch Crew challenges not Frax, but the TNA Tag Team Champions, the Hardy Boys, to a Tag Team Championship match. And my little mind was blown in this moment, Will.
Yep.
But then afterwards, the fact that immediately when we come back from commercial, we also get a video of the Hardys with the TNA championships talking about No Quarter Catch Crew and accepting their challenge. I was like, what is the world coming to right now? I was like, oh my God. This was a really fun episode of NXT for me. I'm like, holy crap. I was like, I know these guys because I covered TNA.
I was so excited.
Hardys and NXT is about to go nuts.
It is. I agree. It's gonna get. This is gonna be off the hook. I think it's gonna be. Because let me tell you, ever since I saw them in person, I have such a new love. Your whole
perspective has changed.
I have a whole new love for them. Like truly. I mean, they were good guys, but watching them live, really, man, it just shifted my whole world. And because they are genuinely amazing human beings. That's what's so crazy about it. Is it's like I don't want anything bad to happen to them. It's like we must protect the Hardys at all times.
Them as TNA Tag Team Champions have done such a good thing for the TNA Tag Division, and it's doing good things for the TNA division too. Like we didn't have an episode for it, but when the Hardys teamed up with Leon Slater against the System, I was like, this match rules. It was such a fun match, but. No Quarter Catch Crew versus the Hardys for the TNA Tag Team Champions next week in Cleveland, Ohio is crazy. So, we'll talk about that in a little bit. This was really the only down part of the episode for me. Horse Stacks, you never stood a chance.
No.
And Sean Spears, I need NXT. I need more clarification on what this group is. Is it a cult? Is it like a self-help group? Like, is it just a group of individuals? Like, I need some motivation here.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh no, this was the next match, but yeah.
I don't understand it at all. I don't. Yeah, this was my least favorite match of the night.
I was like, poor Stacks, you never stood a
Yeah, I
chance.
know. And that was what's so, again, here we are just throwing talent away. This irritates me because this is not a match that Stack should have been fighting. I'm sorry, because all it did is lower him down.
And making the D'Angelo family look weaker as it is.
Yeah, I know.
And it's sending a message that Tony's really the only one who can get things done and nobody else. Here's what I would have preferred. Okay, follow me down this rabbit hole, if you will. I think we should not have immediately got into these, Stacks and Miss Rizzo and Mr. Luca. I feel like we should have built up to them where Sean Spears is trying to put doubt in their minds. We get a little verbal and maybe some minor physical scuffles. And we should do that for like a week or two. And then we can get a match between these two or even get a tag team. Or if we really wanted to, do a trios match. Because we can throw, Izzy Dame, Sean Spears, and Brooke Jensen versus Stacks, and Rizzo. But we knew what was going to happen. Stacks was not winning. He just loses. So not only does it Stack look like a chump, but it also makes the D'Angelo family not a credible threat. They're like, now if that's the story they're going to, because Tony is their NXT North American champion and whatnot, sure, fine. But I feel like we could have waited like a week or two before these two came to blows. Like Stacks is like, I got to do this for the Dawn. I'm like, sir, you just witnessed him in a steel cage get attacked. And might I add, they took you out at the end of the go home show of NXT, might I add, too. So hated it.
Yep.
Poor Andre Chase. But good on Eddie Thorpe. He continues to get a win.
Yep.
Andre Chase is just like a depression dad. Like, I'm kind of here for it.
Yeah.
Dad in depression. My question is, I know Duke Hudson got released in those releases, which kind of sucks. But I'm like, where is Thea? I don't know if she's injured or whatnot, but this was another match to happen, though. I was not mad at this one like I was with the Stacks and, Sean Spears match.
Right.
Eddie picks up a win. Andre Chase continues that downward spiral in the dad depression road. So it's fine. I thought it was fine. I don't really have anything else to add.
I don't either.
Now, this, though, I want us to talk about, Will. Yes. Okay. Listen, I am Vengeance. Trick Williams. No, let me tell you, even though this was like a 15-second promo with Trick talking, this is the most convinced I have been. I'm like, oh shit, I'm kind of scared of Trick, but in the best way possible. So Trick, after the match, lights go down a little bit. Trick is on the screen. It's like, Eddie, you thought this was over? Nah, we gonna keep fighting. And I'm gonna tell you when it's over. You best believe that I'm gonna whoop that ass. Like, he didn't say Trick. He's like, I'm gonna come down there and I'm gonna kick your ass. And I'm just like, I am so here for Vigilante Trick. Like,
yeah, me too.
Look at this look right here. I'm like, if this is the look we're gonna get for him, where he's brooding and like he shops at Hot Topic, I'm here for it.
Yeah,
holy shit!
Absolutely.
In 15 seconds, he has undone some of my problems that I've had with him over the last couple of months in a 15-second promo.
Yeah,
because now he has depth, which is what he's been missing.
Yep, I totally agree. Because now Trick is something that I fear. See, before I didn't. I was like, oh, okay, it's Trick. But see, now it's like he's all shadowy and shady and, in the dark. And I think he's gonna go full heel. I really do. I think he's going full heel.
Don't make him a tweener. Just push him as his very aggressive heel. This is crazy to say, but I feel like if they do this right, they can make Trick Williams what Ridge Holland should have been as this very vengeful heel.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, I'm hoping that that's what's happening here.
I hope so too. I mean, who knows? NXT can fumble the bag, so to speak, but I'm gonna give them some grace and some faith because this little vignette from Trick had me super excited. Will this card is stacked for next week because. Oh my God.
I know.
You just text me your thoughts and I will read them on air.
Okay. I'll do that.
But yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully me and Macho are going to have some fun next week. And I can't wait to start to indoctrinate him into the cult that is TNA. I'm just saying. Seriously. For reals. So we get into our main event, which kicked a lot of ass. We knew the Fatal Influence girls weren't going to win, but damn it, they tried. They did really good, and I thought they got some offense in, but yeah. Stephanie, Julia, and Jordan, this match did what it did and had the girls be dominated. Like, they dominated Fatal Influence. And again, if we are getting this triple threat, I want this to be a triple threat match at Stand and Deliver. But no notes, fantastic main event. Had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the end of NXT. Look at that. We covered both Vengeance Day and NXT in a timely manner. I'm proud of us.
Yay. Look at that.
I know. So next week, as I said earlier, it is just going to be a regular NXT review where we review the actual show. It's going to be myself and Macho. Will's going to be tagging out, but Macho is going to be tagged in. So me and Macho are going to do a little, tag team action next week. But I'm excited for the following week when the three of us are reunited, and it does feel so good. But that's going to be it for us here at NXT Los. So stay tuned because you will see Will and I be covering CMLL in about 2 hours or so. But just to recap of what to expect for the remainder of this week, CMLL tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Central. Friday night, again, me and Will, TNA. Dang, we're just spending a lot of time together this week. I'm not going to complain, though. So on Friday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 Eastern is the TNA review, where this is going to be the second live show for TNA. And on the card, we are getting a promo from Eric Young after defeating Josh Alexander. We are finally getting Tessa Blanchard having another match in TNA, which we'll talk about during TNA, which I think is smart on TNA's part, given the fact that we are still dealing with, some controversy with her being back. And, brother himself, Macho Rodriguez, and the rest of the BC WrestlePod family. Remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay biconic. More importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We will catch you later.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's going to happen next time? Well, you're going to have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.